I'm under the weather, as you can hear. Still. It sucks. Oh, wasn't that nice?
Yeah, I'm still under the weather. I'm still congested. I still have issues here with my sinuses and my throat in particular today. It's giving me a lot of problems, okay?
Jesus Christ.
When I played The Last Guardian last week, no one really liked it. And, I'm not exaggerating here. I played it on stream for 3.5 hours, and the consensus of the stream was that the game was boring as dirt, and that I shouldn't play it. Most people were telling me to quit it. I'm not even kidding. They were like, Phil, this really sucks. And, this game is just not very interesting, and, what a disappointment for a game that took 10 years to develop, right? And, there has not been any kind of mass demand for me to go back to the game. So, I'm playing the games that I'm enjoying the most, especially because I've been sick. If I'm going to suffer through being sick, I want to play the games that I've been enjoying the most, alright? So, at least from an initial perspective of 3.5 hours of gameplay, The Last Guardian was a pretty big disappointment, okay?
Oh.
Now, I will try to play it tomorrow. We'll see. Tomorrow, I'll probably give it another shot. I'll play a session of it, and I'll see what I feel about it, alright? I'm hoping the game gets better, but so far, there's been no story. There has been pretty much absolutely no real gameplay outside of basic puzzle solving and platforming. So, the game is pretty basic, and the graphics suck because the frame rate's so low. Jack White in the stream chat just says, well, the game gets better. Well, that's a fault of the game, then. If I can play a game for 3.5 hours, and the game hasn't engaged me within 3.5 fucking hours, that is a major shortcoming of the game. That means the game designers failed. They should have made the game more engaging early on so you want to keep playing it, not go through really boring shit at the beginning to get to something good, a lot of people say, well, why doesn't Phil just not work until he's better? Like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So imagine this. I got my sore throat originally on Tuesday when the new releases came out. So imagine if I didn't work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, of course, people might say, well, if you didn't work for several days, you probably would have got better quickly. Well, yeah, okay, maybe if I hadn't talked for several days, I would have got better more quickly. That is true. And I also would have had no money. And I'm sorry, because some people just seem to understand that I have to pay my bills, They still think that this is 2008 Phil, who I would go to work and I would come home and maybe play games for an hour or two a night and record it and upload it to YouTube on a casual whim just to dick around. It's not, This has been my job since 2011. I have to treat it seriously, and I have to be dedicated to it, and I have to tough through this kind of shit to keep producing product. That's really what it is. I produce product, you watch that product, and I get to pay my bills,
Patreon.
I'm nervous about this month, and here's why I'm nervous. Because, October, we had this big rush of people who pledged to help me because you learned about my financial woes. And in October, I had this big surge of Patreon support. November, it reduced a little bit, but I expected that because I knew a lot of people gave, bigger amounts in October, and they weren't going to do that every month. This month, I don't know what's going to happen because it is the end of the year, right? Typically, a lot of people I know have bills and stuff to pay, especially if you're buying Christmas presents and everything for your family and loved ones. And I'm nervous because even though the Patreon goal is a good one this month, okay, this marathon of chill stream that I want to do in January, I've seen a bunch of patrons either lower or drop out of their pledges already. And that makes me nervous because this is something I
need to pay my bills. I'm not exaggerating here.
This is essential income that I'm using to pay my bills. And I know I've had a really positive experience being here on Twitch.
Which is why I'm streaming so much now, because it's been a positive and profitable experience.
But I don't want people to think that just because I'm on Twitch, oh, Phil's making money on Twitch now, so he doesn't need Patreon anymore. No, it's the opposite. It's the worst possible thing you can think, okay? Simply because if that becomes your mentality, then all that means is that the money's going from one place to another. And that's not the goal here. The goal here is to maintain a solid amount of funding on Patreon a month so I know what I'm making, so I can pay my bills and I can do my finances and I can figure everything out. So I'm nervous right now that people are going to be like, well, it's December, and, I'll reduce my pledge for this month. It's not a big deal. That's not the case. I still need your support, okay? It's not like, just because I'm making a little bit extra money on Twitch this month because I came back to it. First of all, that's temporary. Because that a lot of people initially up front are going to support me on Twitch, and then, after a while, they're not going to continuously be throwing bits my way and doing all that. It's cool that I got this up front. I'm very grateful for those of you who are here every day for the streams and who've subbed. By the way, I almost have 100 subs.
At the very least, $1 a month, you know what I mean?
Even if it's a tight month for you, and you've been an ongoing pledgee, please, leave your $1 pledge. It's not a lot for you, it adds up for me. It really does help, okay? The other thing a lot of people don't realize is that Twitch, even though Twitch is great, and the subs are great and all that, Twitch takes a lot of the money. Every time that one of you sub here on Twitch, they take half the money. Versus when you pledge to me on Patreon, Patreon takes like not even a tenth, I don't think. Okay? So you're talking, if you really want to help me the best way possible, it's Patreon. It's not Twitch. That's the bottom line. Patreon is the better way, okay? Someone said to me, Phil, why don't you just accept donations? Or why do you say that you don't accept donations, outright donations? Because most people who stream on Twitch have
A donate button, right? Excuse me.
They've got a donate button, or a donate link, or, you know, PayPal link, whatever, to just donate to them. And they get big donations during their streams, and they're constantly giving shout-outs and thank yous to people who pledge donations to them during streams. Why don't I do that? Alright? I'll be honest here. I'll be very honest to everyone. Here's the deal. Tax purposes. Alright? There's a difference between getting money that goes through a third-party business that is fully traceable for tax purposes, and just getting money sent to your bank account, okay? If I get pledges through Patreon, or if I get subs or bits, cheers through Twitch, that's good, because that's all fully traceable income. When I go to my accountant in April, and I give him all my information about my taxes, I say, here's all the money I made through Twitch, here's the money I made through Patreon, here's the money I made through YouTube, here's all the money, and I can give him the concrete evidence of what I've made, okay? If people just sent me money crazily through, say, PayPal, it's not traceable. So someone just tossed me a wad of money, okay? And the problem there would be, what I would then need to do is break down my entire PayPal balance for the entire year, accounting for every single transaction. I'd have to say, this one was business, this one was personal, this was a personal payment, this was a business payment, and it would become a nightmare, alright?